Hi, this is Lonya with another StarCraft 2 commentary, and this is a game between a couple of Koreans, both around 2k level diamond. Not really sure about either of these players, don't think they've played in anything significant. And we've got the blue Protoss with a name in Korean against the red Terran, who's DreamMvP, and the map is Scrap Station. So hopefully two 2k level Koreans might give a fairly decent game. And the map itself fairly balanced, so you shouldn't really favour either player, hopefully at least. The stats put it at pretty close to 50% both in the GSL and in foreign competitions, and we see both players not doing too much at the start. Kind of could go almost anywhere at the moment. They could go for fast expand into the natural since there's a long rush distance, or we could see some kind of harass, especially from the Terran, possibly a Banshee harass or something with the close air distances. Just depends on how they decide to want to play it out, or possibly some Void Rays from the Protoss. Void Rays have been used in the GSL, especially once or twice I think on this map, and they won the game. But it just depends on how they decide to play it out. And it looks like we've got a scout coming from the Protoss and just normal barracks coming from the Terran. No gas down yet, so it doesn't look like he's going to go, or one gas going down now, but unless he gets a second gas fairly soon, he probably won't be rushing too hard to Banshees. But obviously he's going to get some tech, so he might get some Banshees or possibly a factory or something, although the factory Hellion's not too effective against Protoss because Stalkers can take him down fairly easily. And with just a one gas, Banshees are possible, maybe without cloak for starters, and then just get it slightly later rather than rushing out both Banshees and cloak. And the probe managing to get a decent scout off. Gonna see, or should see, that there's that gas up, and obviously no scout yet for the turn. No, he hasn't seen the gases up yet, but he should see it now. Yep, just managed to spot it. So DreamMvP now getting his orbital command up, and an SCV slowly making its way around the map. And we've got the Cybernator to go down. Only one gateway at the moment, just producing a single zealot. Probably might. No, it's not going to be out in time because he's not chrono boosting, so the SCV should get a scout in, and that probe's still just kind of hanging around the base. Neither player going for any kind of wall in, either in their main or at the natural, so, and obviously neither going for an expansion because both getting out some units and production buildings, and still just a one gas up at the moment, and a tech lab coming out, so maybe he'll get a Reaper or just go straight up Marauders and go for kind of tier 1 stuff, and then get some medevacs and go for Medevac Marine Marauder, but he is getting that Reaper out for scouting. Find a unit that I can click on, and he's seen some stuff in the base, but that SCV died before getting too much of a decent scout, and it looks like we are going to get an expansion from Protoss. And 20 against 17, so the Protoss are ahead on Harvesters, but the Terran's also getting an expansion, so not completely rushed to expansion, but fairly fast one, just off one production building for both players, so going fairly economic at both ends. Only one gas up still for the Protoss, which isn't too surprising since he's gone for that fast expansion. And the Reaper now out. Going to possibly try and get that scout in, but the Stalker out. The Stalker can be able to easily deal with this Reaper. It's not going to do too much at all. Run it away. No. Oh, it's on a tap move. Didn't do any controlling of it and just dies pretty much uselessly. So, not the greatest control there, but he is getting a couple more barracks up, so it looks like he's going to go into pretty much a Bioforce and going to have to try and hold off this one sort of Zealot. Should be able to do it fairly easily, especially with those SCVs out, and a bunker going down on the front door, fairly standard, to make sure he's got a decent defense, and presumably, yep, warp gate 10 nearly done, a couple more gateways going down, 4 gateways going down, so definitely some pressure going to come on from the Protoss fairly soon. He's got those, no, he still doesn't have any gas up, so he's going very, presumably going to go very Zealot heavy, unless he gets a gas up fairly soon. He's still working off one gas on these two bases, and he's just stuck down 4 gateways, and Terran getting 2 bunkers, so he's going pretty defensive. Idle SCV there, not too good. 2 idle SCVs in fact, so not the best control on everything, but making sure he keeps his energy down. 2 bunkers, and probes just being produced. Still not too much going on. Not all the gateways have warp gates yet, so, and it looks like he's going to put the bot, so get a quick gap between the two bases. He's not going to be able to, the bunkers are still going to be there, so it's not going to kind of help him except to shorten that rush distance since he's not going air. He's got a couple of sentries out, and now he's finally got that extra gas up and not got any gas down here, so he's only working off 2 gas. It's kind of slightly surprising, not going for too many sentries. And we've got Stimpack now researching for the Terran, and he's only got 1 factory with the tech lab and no reactors on anything, so he's not able to produce a huge amount of stuff, and he's getting an eBay down, and now he finally gets up a couple of reactors, so it's going to go very marine heavy. Not getting a factory down, so he's not going to get any medevacs, he's not going to be able to do any drops, and it kind of puts him in a bit of a difficult position because he's not going to be hugely mobile, and Protoss has decided to stop attacking those rocks, not going to put too much pressure on, and SCV just kind of wandering around. A lot of sentries coming out, which is kind of interesting, especially when he still doesn't have a huge amount of gas. So he's got quite a few minerals, getting a robo up, and just kind of getting a lot of sentries, and he's got 300 minerals, not being able to do too much of that, and getting in more sentries, and sentries obviously very gas heavy, so it looks like he's just going to get a lot of them now, make sure they've got a lot of energy, and now he's getting some zealots as well to support that, but neither player is putting on too much aggression. It looks like for some reason DreamMvP has got a turret down, so obviously he's not really seen too much of what's going on in the base. He's a bit nervous, expecting maybe DTs or something, but obviously they're not coming, so he's kind of playing very defensively, salvaging one of his bunkers but not the other one at the moment, and he looks like he's going to push out and try and put a bit of pressure on. Meanwhile, the Protoss still not taking down those rocks, so he's got the forces there, but he's not doing too much with them, which is also kind of interesting. So both players kind of being a bit weird at the moment, just checking now I think for any pylons. But really, if he's going to attack the rocks, he should be attacking them now. If he's not going to attack the rocks, then that's fine, but he's not really doing anything with this army at the moment. And DreamMvP moving out. And now it looks like both players are going to move out, and they're going to be kind of in the middle of the air. And lots of sentries, and it's going to stim, and try and do a bit of damage. But he's going to make a lot of force fields, well, far too many force fields, kind of wasting energy. Sure, he's got quite a bit of energy, but he's wasted so many force fields there. And he's still got quite a lot of energy left because he got those sentries fairly early. But kind of a bit of a waste, and a bit of a waste from the Terran as well. Didn't really manage to do too much damage, used a lot of stim, and he's still, oh no, he's got a starport coming now, so he will be able to get some medevacs coming out. I'm surprised he's not got a reactor going down on that factory so that he can get a lot of medevacs, but it looks like he's, nope, is he going to go for the rocks, or is he just going to stick something there? And an observer now coming out, and more gateways going down, so it looks like he's going to go heavy on the gates. Not really using that robo for any units, and he's just going to, so he is getting thermal out, so he will get Colossi eventually, because he's seen that bioforce. And that'll mean the Terran's going to have to decide between getting some Vikings or getting some medevacs to support his force. And he still hasn't seen a robo whatsoever, hasn't seen these extra gateways going down, so his scan's kind of in a bit of a bad position. He sees the army, but he doesn't really see what's in the base, doesn't really see what's going on, and now we've got an observer up, just kind of sat above the army. Can't really move forward because of this turret, but I don't think the Protoss is going to be too bothered. He just wants to keep an eye on that army, see when it moves out, see whether it decides to take down those rocks, and he's got more barracks coming up, and he is producing some medevacs, just single medevacs off one factory. Not going to be hugely effective, and he is getting another turret down here, so that observer's going to have to move. But we got Zealot Charge coming up, Thermal Lance upgrade, Protoss Weapons 1, Terran's already got +1 weapons, and he's getting +1 armor. But if the force fields can be used effectively, and these sentries all got quite a bit of energy, they can probably do at least 2 or 3 force fields each, that could be pretty much game ending if he manages to just catch the bioforce, split it completely in half, keep the Colossus at the back, eat up Marines with the Colossus, and then when another one comes out, that is, and he's got enough. And some of these gateways not in warp gates, so players not perfect, which is possibly why they're not kind of the highest level, but he is getting another expansion up. And both players not really attacking, not being aggressive, and just making sure they've got enough forces to take on the opponent. But really the Terran composition is pretty poor. He's got, for some reason, Marauders in his medevac, possibly accidentally. And now he's finally got a reactor up. He sees the Colossi, so he knows he's got to get some Vikings out, but he's still only got that one medevac supporting his entire Marine Marauder force, which is really not what you want. and we've got an observer just sat across above the barracks, knows exactly what's coming out, knows how much production he's got, knows the army's moving out. Little proxy pylon there, not going to be able to do too much. He's got an observer here. So basically the Protoss is going to have the economic advantage. He's got way more probes, he's got more bases, he's got more, possibly more units. Yeah, he's got a much bigger army. He's got better income, he's got more units, he's getting the upgrades, he's got the right composition, and Terran really quite far behind just by not putting on any aggression and not really macroing up too well. And it looks like we're going to have the Protoss moving out, going to be able to charge in with those zealots, split out the units with the force field, make half the army basically useless if they don't move in, but no, they're just going to run away. And really there's not much the Terran can do on it, I think, because this Protoss forces are coming and absolutely destroy everything. As soon as it's close enough, if he manages to use his force field effectively, making some of the army not able, he does manage to take down one of the Vikings, he's going to be able to take down the second Viking in a second, and this army just melted completely, wow, and then one medevac, still got some energy left, but that died, not able to do too much, and really that was this much better macro from Protoss. Got a much better economy, much bigger army, the right army, and the Terran could do nothing. Didn't put on any early pressure, didn't do anything, and yep, GG from the Terran. Kind of a bad game by DreamMvP, well played by the Protoss, making sure he had the macro, making sure he had the army, making sure his composition was right and getting in the scouting, and kind of an easy win in the end, just moving in that force, taking everything down. Neither of the Colossi died, and quite a lot of his army was still left at the end, so well played by the Protoss, and that's how you do it. If you manage to macro up, make sure that the Terran doesn't put on too much aggression, and win the game.